So I found this game while I was looking at a Japanese news website of all places, and colour me pleasantly surprised when I saw it had an English translation as well. A quick look at the description and I was sold. But is Palphone-sama, Curse Call, worth your time? Let's take a look. The premise of this game is very simple. The game claims to be a reality-intertwined urban legend narrative horror. What that means is you'll be using real Twitter accounts and real websites that actually exist on the internet to help you proceed through the game. There's an urban legend going around of something called Palphone-sama, a ghost similar to Kokuri-san that makes people disappear. Your editor-in-chief from an occult website you work for needs you to do some research ASAP because another writer has suddenly dropped out. There's a horror film that's trending at the moment and he wants you to look further into it. You just do the research, then he'll write the story. Easy peasy. The game functions basically like you're using an actual smartphone, and you're communicating with your editor through an app called, coincidentally enough, I'm sure, Palphone. Here you can chat with your editor by calling him. It will inform you what your current mission is, and the link to the real-life websites you'll need to visit to gather information will be there too. And that's the gimmick of this game. It sends you to real websites on the internet that were made specifically for this game, so you can scour them for information. Once you have the answer to whatever the question is, you go back to the app, call the editor, and he'll ask you to type in the answer. For me, this is an interesting premise for a game. It's right up my alley. There's an urban legend at play, and it's up to you to dig through some social media and websites to uncover the answers. I mean, that's literally my job right now, so why wouldn't this appeal to me? The first place it sends you to is a website for a movie called Screaming Livestream. It's an indie horror movie that was in production and claimed to be the world's first ever completely live-streamed horror film. This movie was supposed to revolve around an urban legend known as Palphone-sama, a spirit that will descend into the comments of the Palphone app if you live stream a special ritual. Then, like Kokuri-san, you can ask her a question and she will answer. But in return, you'll be cursed. As such, this little independent movie was going to perform the ritual live on the app and ask Palphone-sama some questions. But then the movie was cancelled. Why? That's up to you to find out. Through your investigations, you'll uncover that something terrible happened during filming, and it seems that they did actually successfully pull off the ritual. They managed to summon Palphone-sama, and now the director and the main actress have disappeared. This will make for a fantastic story. But of course, you need more information. This is the basic gameplay loop. Uncover some information, report back to the editor. He'll ask you to uncover a little more, report back, over and over until you reach the end. It starts off easy enough, but then you'll need to access a few hidden websites that are locked behind passwords. And as you get towards the ending, you'll need to snoop quite thoroughly and put 1 and 2 together to get the correct answer for the ending. It should be pointed out at this point, the game was originally Japanese, and obviously this is a translation. The websites and Twitter accounts you'll have to explore are obviously in English as well, and for the most part it's fine. But there are a few little errors here and there. But perhaps the biggest problem is that one of the passwords required to get into a hidden website is, well, wrong. I'm not sure where things went wrong, but the game tells you that the answer should be in all lowercase letters. And it's not. I tried this over and over until I got frustrated enough that I tried it with a capital letter at the start, and lo and behold, it worked. That was the only real hiccup I had, but it seems that despite several people reporting this, it hasn't been fixed, so beware. You'll also need to put in a character's name at some point, and, as I discovered, you're supposed to do that the English way as well. First name, followed by family name. The second problem with this game, if you can call it that, is the price. It's €5 here in Europe for a game that will take most people roughly half an hour at best. That's pretty pricey. There are 2 different endings, but these are achieved simply by the answer you input right at the end. Nothing else is different, so once you've played the game once, you can rush through the entire thing again in just a few minutes. There's pretty much zero replayability, which is a common problem with games that rely heavily on mysteries and digging up answers. Once you know those answers, well, that's it. There's nothing left to do. The price seems rather hefty for how much content there is, but if you can find it on sale, then I do highly recommend it. There are definitely worse ways you could spend 30 or 40 minutes of your time. Digging through the lore behind the urban legend alone is pretty fun, and I'll actually be doing a separate video on that, so keep an eye out. One thing that I personally loved is that several characters are from Shimane. Your editor mentions at one point that he grew up in the Shimane boonies, and so his internet connection was always slow. As someone who spent a decade living in the Shimane boonies, I can confirm that yes, internet there was slow as hell. In fact, it was so slow that when I returned to Australia, it was a massive upgrade in internet speed. And if you know anything about Australian internet, you'll understand how horrifying that is. So I appreciated that little dose of reality. The game also comes with a PDF file, in both Japanese and English, that explains various little cultural bits from the game, which I thought was neat, and there's a section in it on Shimane. I don't know if the developer actually grew up in Shimane. I was unable to find anything on that, but the information there is on point. Good stuff. From what I can see, the game hasn't had massive sales either, and I'm going to assume that most people watching this review are possibly hearing of it for the first time. Do I recommend it? Purely as a game? Yeah, it was pretty fun. But as I said, it feels a tad expensive for the amount of content you get. So whether you're willing to spend that much for such a short amount of playtime is up to you. But if you have played this game before, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it as well, so let me know in the comments below and I'll see you again next time.